Hey guys, it's Mick here and welcome back to Average Aussie Life Goals. For those of you who are joining our channel for the first time, I'll just give you a bit of insight on what we're all about. We are basically just an average Aussie couple trying to make something out of our life. We're trying to do what everybody wants to do, achieve their dreams in life. So all it's going to take from us is a lot of hard work, a lot of elbow grease and a lot of commitment. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned and watch all of our videos. We do car build series, we do furniture series, we do house series, garden and yard work series. So all of this stuff we'll be putting together in separate videos. Hopefully any of them avenues appeal to any of the people watching this channel. But stick with us on our journey and hopefully it'll inspire you to set out and achieve your goals as well. Aren't they just adorable? On today's episode, I'll be spending some time cleaning up the chicken coop and looking after our little friends who provide us with eggs. Now, a lot of these chickens are quite young, so we're not getting as many eggs as we could be getting, or as many eggs as we will be getting in the future. But we are getting enough eggs that we can have eggs for breakfast every day. We're hoping to get enough that we can give them out to family and friends at some point. But all in good time, guys. So like I said, I'll be spending some time in the yard taking care of the chickens. We've got to do their water, their feed. We've also got some compost bins up the back, so I'm going to need to check on the compost bin, make sure it's not getting too dry. Hey, girl. But yeah, I'll take you guys on a journey. This is a basic day of just a basic yard work. When you want to have animals and raise them, you need to take the time to look after them. Okay, guys. I'm just carrying the camera around for the purpose of this. Oh, sorry, girls. Didn't mean to bother you. These are their nesting boxes. This is where we find the majority of our eggs. Look at her. She wants to hop back in. Maybe she's ready to lay one for us. But as you can see, like it's getting pretty manky in there. So it is going to need a clean. I do have a plan of attack. Yeah, look how dirty that is. Yeah, we're going to have to get stuck into that today for sure. But I do have a plan of attack. I'm going to empty out this water, and this is usually the outside water trough. They all enjoy drinking from this. They also like to get stuck into the ground once it's wet, so they're actually going to enjoy all this tipped out water. I'll put this trough on the other side of the fence here, so we'll wash that out later. All this water, they'll come running. We've got a rooster here. Look at him, he does his job. He tries to get me all the time. So we have, all up, we have 12 hens, 2 roosters. The rooster right there, we actually thought that rooster was a hen for quite some time until it started, it got a bit spicy and started attacking us, and we worked out pretty quick it was a rooster. But this is where they live. He's, speaking of spicy, look, he's a bit upset, isn't he? Oi, come here, you. Cut it out, little bugger. Right, so this is where the chickens live. This is where I need to clean. Everywhere you see, I need to clean. We have to clean their water container. We have to clean their food container. Got to make sure that's full of food. Make sure that's full of water. Also, we need to search around. We have to have a good look inside of this chicken coop to see if we can find any hidden eggs. Sometimes the eggs are just on the ground. You can see they nest in the corners. They tend to like nesting in the corners. They lay their eggs in all sorts of places. It's pretty much Easter every day out here trying to find eggs. And then these are the compost bins out the back. I did tape this cardboard up to stop the chickens sitting on the compost bin, because they're actually getting on the bin and then jumping on the fence. We don't want them to escape. But over time, the cardboard's just basically turned into a shelf and they can get on here just as easy. So I might try and come up with a new solution for that. But all in all, there's a lot of work to be done out here. I'm going to get stuck into it or do a little time lapse, but I won't use up too much footage on that. And when I'm done, I'll just take you guys through a little bit more of a tour. Okay, have a look at this, guys. This is much better, much cleaner. All of their nesting boxes now have been refreshed. We use a combination of sawdust and sand to stop them, well, to try and encourage them to lay in the nesting boxes, because some of them prefer to lay eggs in the sand. So we have an egg here just immediately after I've cleaned it. There's an egg here that one of our hens has laid in the sand. But the girls are going to love this. Now that it's clean, they've all come inside to redecorate. They're going to have a great time scratching around and messing it back up again, because it seems to be what they like doing best. Rooster down here, he's quite spicy. He's got his eye on me. I don't think he likes me being inside his house. Sometimes he's a little bit aggressive. That, or he likes to eat work boots. Maybe he likes to eat work boots. But there you go, guys. The chicken coop is now clean. They have fresh water. They have fresh food. They're all in here. They're quite content. I think they're trying to hide from the rain. Okay, guys, I've brought you around to our compost bins here that we keep in our chicken area. The compost bins were actually here first before this was a chicken area. So it was more effort to move it than it was to just build the chicken area around it. And it's not a big deal just to come through the chicken gate to access it. I've got some bits and pieces here I want to put in the compost bin. This is the lid I was talking about earlier that's no good. We've had an influx of rain as well, and it's turned it completely useless. So I'm going to come up with another solution for that today. But first, I'll just take you through the bins. This bin here is strictly green waste. We put only leaves, lawn clippings, sticks, just anything that sort of comes from the garden. If we do any trimming on any of our plants, they end up in here as well. Now this one here is the one that we put all our food scraps in, and we also do put, like, you know, the lawn trimmings and like every now and then with some leaves, just that sort of stuff in there, just to help the variety of stuff to compost down. So I've got a few bits and pieces here just from the house. See if I can get this to stay up. It looks like a little bit of moisture has got into the compost bins, which is good over the last couple of days, because if it's too dry, it's not going to do anything. I've just got some banana skins here. I'm going to chuck these banana skins. We soak our banana skins in water, and then we tip the water on our strawberry plants. An old lady told us that it helps promote the strawberries to fruit, and lo and behold, it actually did. It worked. So that's something we're consistently doing still. I've got some bread here I'm going to throw in. Just break it up just a little bit, because then that helps it sort of break down. I feel as if that it looks like there may be mice getting into our compost bin, because you can see little mice holes. Also, I haven't turned the compost in maybe a week or two. So I'm going to chuck all this food in there now, the stuff to break down, and then I'm going to turn it. We've got our compost turner on the top. I've got some potato skins as well here. We're going to chuck all these potato skins in here and just spread them around so that the decomposition can happen throughout the bin. Just chuck the rest of these in there. Make sure that there are no potato skins left, because what's left in this I'm going to feed to our chooks. So we've got some cucumber and some zucchini, and there's a little bit of mixed leaf in there. I'll feed this to the chickens, and I think they're going to love it. Well, they're lining up for it already, so if I chuck a couple bits down, I'm sure they'll get into it. So we'll just put this on the ground. Oh, hello, you want some of this? No, she's fussy. If I can cut a square that's 1200 by 1200, make up some fasteners for it to hook it on the fence, I reckon it's going to work a treat. Let's see what we can do. As sure as the sun will shine. The moment you remove your controls, chickens, they're all over it. This is why we need to hang this thing up on the fence. They start by getting on the compost bins, and then they jump up on the fence there, and once they're on the fence, they've got access to the rest of the world. We don't want to lose our chickens. So I better get this cover made up quick smart, so we can keep these chickens on the ground where they should be. Here we are, guys. Moment of truth. Is this piece of plywood going to work? I think it is. As you can see, the chickens have been busy getting up onto the compost bins already. They don't waste any time doing all the things that we don't want them to do. So I'm going to chuck this up on there and hopefully it stops them from getting up. And just like that, it fits pretty spot on. The capping sits over the old capping really nicely. It doesn't foul on the heads of the rivets because they're folded away from it. And we've got this now, this nice barrier to stop our chickens from getting onto the compost bin and escaping their yard. They can probably still get on the bins, but it's going to be more like a little cubby house for them than it is going to be an access or egress way out of their environment. So we're going to leave this here. This has worked a treat. It's not very heavy. It's actually quite light, so it's easy to get on and off every time we need to. And you can see that they're lining up to check out these new improvements. Okay, guys, now that I'm satisfied with the chickens area and the chicken coop, I'm going to move on and do a little bit of yard work and some gardening. Now, this behind me, this little hedge right here, used to be enormous. It was overgrown. It was taking up the entire pathway, and it was just consuming the garden bed. It was huge. And about a year or two earlier, I went through with the chainsaw and I just hacked this thing down to an absolute shell of its former self. And it's been quite some time and it's begun growing back. Now, something I wanted to try is I wanted to try pruning it. I want to sort of cut it into a bit of a cube so we can have like a little green cube. We don't want it too big because when it is, it takes away the light from the rest of the garden beds that we have behind it. Okay, so that's a lot better. Now, under no circumstances am I an expert at pruning bushes, but my plan is to continue trimming this one up as a nice little cube until it fills out. And by then, hopefully it looks a lot neater. It's definitely looking about 100 times better than how it used to look after I hacked it down with the chainsaw. And the way that it's bounced back, I'm confident that in time we'll get it to look like a nice, neat little cube. All right, I'm going to move on to the lawns now. So I'll probably chuck all the clippings onto the ground and the lawnmower will catch them up while I'm mowing the lawns. I'm going to move on into the orchard now. There's probably no need to film that. It's quite intricate. Once I've done filming, I'll take you guys for a little bit of a look down there and we can introduce you to some of the trees that we've got that we've planted. But other than that, I'm just going to finish off this lawn and I'll meet you guys there. Okay, guys, I'll give you a quick rundown on our garden beds. We're growing a lot of potatoes. If you know, you know. These are all potatoes. Now, they weren't all planted at the same time, or I think they were. So those ones were before, but these ones are all planted at the same time. And so they're maturing at different speeds. Some of the plants are starting to die off. So once they're completely gone, we'll be able to dig down into the ground and get some potatoes out. We've got a couple of potato plants behind me as well. In this bed here, we've got some broccoli, and I think that's silver beet. We've also started growing some peas. Oh, have a look at this. Okay, I'll just pan the camera around. But we're starting to get little pods now, starting to grow, which is really good. I've sort of missed out on a bit of the growth of these. I've been focused on other areas, but it looks like we're starting to get some little pods. I'll turn your attention to this next garden bed. So these are our mini bell peppers, which are just a mini variety of capsicum. We've done really well in this garden bed. There were more plants, but they have completed their succession and they've died off. So we're just leaving them in place to compost into the bed. So I'll actually pick some of these. These ones here are ready to go. So we'll grab these. Even this little one. That one there's still a bit green. That one there's still a little bit green. And we have a mini one that's red. So that one's, it's also the stems died off, so it's ready to go. You can pick them when they're green. We prefer them a little bit sweeter, so we wait until they're orange and red. Just the other day, these were all still very much green, so they've actually matured in that time. You can see just some mini bell capsicums there, some mini bell peppers. But right next door, we've got our banana peppers. Now these two plants had a fantastic first succession. We got a lot of peppers from them, or capsicums if you will. Now they're going through a second succession, but because the weather's cooled down so much, it looks like some of the plants are suffering from the cold weather. I don't think we're going to get a tremendous amount of fruit off of them, but we will leave them growing just to see in hopes of what we get. But yeah, some of these are actually quite decent size. They would make good eating. It may be worth picking them green. All right, guys, I'll take you around to the orchard and I'll show you what we've got growing there. To our orchard. Well, it's more of a beginning orchard as our trees are not yet mature. But we've planted out a lot of trees since the time of living in this house. We've got a pear tree here. We have 2 apple trees there. Down the back, that's our lemon tree. Behind me, that is the flagship of this entire orchard. That is the mandarin tree. Now, the mandarin tree has been here since before we've even owned the property. And she's always fruited. I've always tried my best to look after it. It does its thing and it gives us lots of mandarins every year. We've got, I don't know what that is, but I do have a locust tree and I've got a couple of vines. We have a lime tree, a finger lime, and down the very back is an orange tree. It's only about this tall. It used to be about this big, but I accidentally run it over with the lawnmower. I was devastated, but once it started growing back, it's showing a lot of hope for the future. Hoping it'll turn into an orange tree and fruit one day. We're just going to have to nurse it and be gentle with it. I'll grab the camera and I'll show you guys around a bit more. I'll start by turning your attention here. Have a look at this. This aloe vera tree. This thing is massive. It is a testament to time. I'm not sure how long this thing's been growing for, but for it to get this big, I'm sure it's been growing for well over 5 years. Look at the size of it. Now, we have actually used aloe vera off of this plant previously. It does come in handy when it's summertime. You can simply just break a bit off, split it open, and you get the aloe vera gel and the juices out. It's great for sunburns. It actually works. It's not a gimmick. Right, we have a stone fruit here. Now, this tree, this poor tree actually got snapped in half. So it used to fruit for us, and then one day the neighbour's tree came down. You can see the damage on the fence there, and that's actually this remainder of the tree that snapped down, and a huge portion of it snapped there. It comes straight down on this tree, completely knocked it flat. It snapped it, and it died. So I left it on the ground. I was in denial about it. I left a bit of a stub on the ground, and what had happened was this whole section here was a sucker, a little sucker that's grown off from the trunk of the tree, and then over the years has turned back into its own tree. Now, I pruned it as best as I could last season. You can see it needs another pruning soon, so we'll do that once it's completely dormant. We're going to try and get it to grow in a wine glass shape is sort of what the goal is, but we'll see how it goes. So there's a similar tree to this over there, which when we first got the property, this tree was absolutely out of control. This thing was just out of control, was going crazy, and it wasn't fruiting or anything like that. So I gave it a very hard prune, and you can see it's bounced back fantastically. It's actually growing back really well. The only issue we've had is that there's been some birds or some sort of animal that's got in the tree and it's completely chewed up all the leaves. I don't think that's done any tremendous damage to the tree. It's got a couple of leaves left. It would probably drop its leaves around this time of year anyway, being in autumn. But you can see that it's starting to sort of grow. We're going to try and get a wine glass shape out of this one as well. So that's a stone fruit. I'm not sure if it's an apricot or a peach. I actually think it's a peach. Apricot leaves are usually a bit wider. So again, so they're both the same. They both need a good prune. Down here is our berries. So we have blackberries here. Now the plant's looking pretty worse for wear. I do need to get in and get rid of all the dead leaves. I'll trim off any of these bits here that have died as well. So it did actually fill this harrow frame up at one point, but I think it's just dying back because of the time of year. So there's another one down there, another blackberry bush. It still looks quite green down here, down at the roots. But yeah, most of the bush on there is starting to die off. It's a bit of a shame. We've got some blueberries here. We did used to have some more. We had a lot of issues with rabbits getting in, so a rabbit jumped in and it just completely ate them all. And this is before it's fruit, like they've eaten the bush. So moving on, we've got an apple tree here. It's one of the apple trees. Another apple tree here. So these two apple trees, we planted them over a year ago, and they've taken really well to the soil. They've sprouted up a significant amount. Here's our lemon tree, which she looks quite healthy, but there's been a little bit of a dieback on it, and I'm not sure if that's just because of the season. We try and water them as much as possible. They got tons of water through summer, so I'm sure that's helped a lot. Moving on to the mandarin tree. Look at these mandarins. Now it's never been a tree to grow really big ones. However, they've always been just the most sweetest, flavorful mandarins I've ever had. The pith on them can be quite thick as well between the skin and the fruit. But if you let them mature enough, typically the fruit inside is just spot on. And you can see that these are almost ready to go. Still a little bit too firm. I probably wouldn't pick and eat them. But yeah, this tree, once it starts fruiting, it'll probably fruit throughout winter. I typically get a lot of mandarins. Yeah, look at that. An animal's already starting to eat them, and it hasn't finished it, probably because they're not quite ripe enough yet. But this mandarin tree, it just goes off. It does a great job. Rightio, so here's our little orange tree. Bit of a sad story, really, this one. Yeah, I accidentally ran it over with the lawnmower. You can see right there. But it started growing back. It had another two suckers on it, but we lopped them off in the hopes that it would focus all of its growing energy into this part of the tree here, and this will grow up and then become an entire tree. So yeah, we're just it's a little bit vulnerable at the moment. We're going to try and look after it as best we can. Moving on, so this is an avocado tree that just did not take well to the soil. Yeah, bit of a sad one. I don't know what we did wrong with this tree, to be honest with you. Like all the bases of the trees, we put good soil down. We got mulch there for it. We keep the grass and the weeds from getting in and taking the moisture out of the soil. But it was growing quite all right for, I don't know, maybe a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3 months. And it just started to get crook, and it's just never bounced back since. So I have no idea. I've absolutely no idea why it did and what to do with it. I mean, the root stock itself actually seems healthy. I think where it's grafted is where it's died. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. If this plant fails to bounce back and grow good, then I have a contingency plan. I'm going to plant my locust tree here. Here's the locust tree. Now, we've had a bit of up and down with this tree. When I originally got the locust tree, I sat it out here in the orchard. It was probably only about this tall and had maybe one branch off it with a couple of leaves. And it can get really windy out here. It got really, really windy, and I think the wind had stressed this poor little tree out and it died off. And once again, I was in denial about it. I didn't want to throw it out, so I left it basically a stick just sticking out of a pot, and it started to grow back, and now it's actually growing back stronger. It's hardier, it's healthier. So I'm almost ready to put this in the ground. I'm not sure if they go dormant in winter or not, but that would be when I felt inclined to do it. So we'll just play it by ear. Once it's ready to go on the ground, or once a spot's made available, then we can put this locust tree in. We've got this plant here. I'm not sure what this plant is. This was a gift from someone, and I've completely forgotten what it is, but it seems like it's doing okay. We've got a couple of grapevines here that are growing all right in their pots, so they may need to be planted. We've got a finger lime here that's doing well. I did have there's some weeds in there. I might have to sort of reach in and pull some weeds out. Got to be gentle around the finger lime because it does have thorns. This is a lime tree. it didn't start off very well. Well, it was a gift, another gift. It didn't start off very well. It died off, but it's actually bounced back. I'm hoping it's going to be all right. Look, if it's, I think we have to wait until after winter because it seems like citrus trees fruit in winter. So after winter, we're going to find a place to plant this. This rainwater tank has to go. I've planted out the orchard so that there are supposed to be 9 plots. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've left a gap, 1, 2, 3, and then another gap, which is where our pot plants are sitting, other than the row there, but 1, 2, and there's supposed to be a third one there. So that third one, that'll be for the lime tree. We're going to move the rainwater tank, then we're going to plant a lime tree there. That will be an orange tree, lemon tree, mandarins. So this is going to be our citrus corner in the back of the orchard. Then we'll have our locust tree, or the locust tree there. If the avocado doesn't do well, I would like a cherry tree. And then there'll be one more tree. There'll be a final tree, the 9th tree. But I haven't decided what we want. Look, we're open to suggestions. If anyone has any good suggestions, let us know what we should plant there. And then over here, just quickly, this garden bed is full of agapanthus. There's a few little rose bushes, and there's some palms, just in and amongst everything. But we're going to change all of that. We're going to relocate these agapanthus, put them somewhere else because they're more of a decorative plant. And this here is another apple tree. I've planted it in the ground here just to see how it goes. And it's actually going quite well. So it looks like the entire ground is all mulched up, but we've used some proper soil for the apple tree, and I've just moved the mulch over it. So underneath all this, the soil was prepared correctly before planting the tree, and it's taken to it very well. So this apple tree looks to be very healthy. It could probably do with a little bit more water. I've turned the water off because we've got a lot of rain lately, and I don't want to overdo it. But we're hoping to have this as a bit of a fruit forest. So we've got an apple tree here to begin with. If the apple tree goes all right, like I said, we'll move these agapanthus. We can relocate them. We've done it before. You can take them out of the ground and replant them. They seem like they're quite hardy. They handle it well. So we'll clear out this middle section here. We may get rid of a couple of these old rose bushes. That one doesn't look good. It's more or less just the suckers growing out of the bottom. That's the only life in that bush. But yeah, we'll probably start by removing all the agapanthus, working out how much space we got and how far from each plant we want to place the plants, and then we're going to turn this into a little food forest. But that's basically it. We do have other garden beds up the back, which I can show you in another video. This strip behind all of our trees, now this strip was all garden. This soil has been prepared with like fertilizer. We put compost in it, and then we rotary hoed it all up, and we planted some corn down there. We planted some pumpkins just here, some butternut pumpkins. Actually, I think butternut are a squash, but they're called butternut pumpkin. So we planted some butternut pumpkins. We've harvested them. We managed to get about 3 or 4. So they're inside the house. We got a lot of beans out of here. There were some beanstalks. Here they are. So you can see, so the beans, oh look, there's one right there. Look at that. I wonder if it's any good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, but beans are a great plant. I actually enjoy them when you come out and you can just eat them fresh off the plant. But yeah, as you can see, they're dying off now. We did get a fair few beans. We did plant a lot of other stuff in here. We had watermelons that didn't fruit. We do have watermelons all the way up the back. That actually, I might just show you those anyway. But we do. We've got spring onions hiding in here somewhere. We've got regular onions hiding in here somewhere, and we've got carrots hiding in here somewhere. We've previously planted carrots all through here. We've got a whole bunch of carrots out of it as well. Unfortunately, the weather's taken over. The weeds are taking over. So whatever's actually planted in here, because we didn't organise it correctly enough to sort of weed proof it, whatever's in here is going to have to fend for itself. And then come the end of winter, we're going to start over. We're going to just rotary hoe all in the ground and start over. Well, righto guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this gardening video or this sort of content, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We do all sorts of other videos. So we're going to be quite busy making content and putting it on our channel, guys. But yeah, like I said, welcome to Average Aussie Life Goals, and we hope you enjoy.